Thank you for joining us for a special edition of Bulldog Blitz National Signing Day edition. We got Mississippi Gulf Coast head coach Chad Huff with us. Chad, it's a big day for the program every year. How has this one treated you?
Yeah, I tell you, it's a big day for sure for Gulf Coast Community College, and it's the biggest day of the year for us when it comes to recruiting. You know, this is what you work all year long for, and recruiting these players and prospects and their families, and get to know them really well and build relationships, and a lot of emotion comes into these days because there's been a lot of hard work put into recruiting these kids, and a lot of time and effort sacrifice from the families as coaches, and so exciting to see these guys make their commitments final, make them official, and today we had a really good day and real pleased how it turned out. Would like to do this real. I'd like to thank the coaches' families, for sacrificing and allowing their coaches to get out and work and do the things that they do and love. And I'm real proud of our coaching staff and the efforts that they put into it. And a lot of miles, a lot of hours, a lot of phone calls, but it paid dividends, and really appreciate the work that they do.
These days in the MACJC, you got to go state line to state line, all the way up north and all the way down to the coast and get everything covered. And I know you guys were on the road a lot, and it was a lot of hard work, and it's reflected in this class. We're going to start on the defensive side of the ball and start in the back end and work our way forward. What do you like back there with the defensive backs you got?
Yeah, I tell you, Steve Moore's a happy DB coach today, and we always kid ourselves. It's not about the X's and O's a lot of times as much as the Jimmys and Joes. And today we're excited and to feel like that Steve did a really good job back there recruiting. Starting in the back end, the free safety, Tyler Glass out of Greenwood. Is going to bring a very rangy 6'2", 6'2.5", 200-pound safety that's very athletic, very talented, physical kid that's got a chance to come in and be an immediate impact. So real excited to get Tyler on board. Willie Bates out of Brookhaven, Coach Clopton. Got a couple of guys from Brookhaven this year, but real excited about Willie. Willie's an outside linebacker, safety. Could see him back there moving around, making a lot of plays, bringing some depth and coming in and being an immediate impact player, and excited about Willie Bates. Deion Cole, Gulfport Admiral, that we're excited to have on board. Deion played running back. He played safety, played in an all-star game, an North Blackwell game, and he's a tremendous athlete that I feel like at the end of the day is going to see himself, being a physical player on that side of the football and helping Steve in the secondary. So real excited about Deion. Ty Peters from D'Iberville. Saw Ty Peters last year in spring, and he's just a natural gifted athlete that can really run, very explosive, strong kid, very, very high-charactered kid, and excited about what Ty's going to do for us next year, and looking forward to getting him on board. Byron Galvin, I tell you, DB out of Warren Central. Played an all-star game down on the coast, and Byron again is a very gifted athlete that excites me a lot to watch him play and watch his highlights and see how he loves to play the game. So really excited about Byron Gavin. Jermichael Overstreet, Tony Vance does a really good job at Hattiesburg. We've always had a lot of luck there out of Hattiesburg. Jermichael, again, knows a lot of things. I tell you, one of his best highlights is watching him cover that kickoff and seeing him run down the field and play the game like we want to have our guys play. So real excited about Jermichael. Also in the secondary, we got a couple of I tell you, very athletic corners this year. Really excited about Tabo, Travis Hendricks from Starkville, 6A state champs. He's a kid that can really run and long and athletic and do all the things that we're expecting our guys to be able to do on that side of the football. Jamal Jones from Roosevelt. A kid that came down there on a visit, loved it. Been recruiting for a really long time. Coach Moore, Irvin Moore, Coach Moore's nephew, did a really good job up there this year in the north and in the Delta area. And Jamal, I tell you, is a kid that can play on either side of the football. Jamal's got really good speed. He's 4'4", 4-ish. Made a lot of plays this year at receiver, at corner, and again has the length that you would like to see at that position. Derek Dixon from Warren Central, Byron Gavin's teammate, again is a very physical, big kid that's long, athletic. Makes plays, and a really good kid, and glad to see Derek get on board with us and join his teammate Byron, and glad both those guys are making that trip from that area and coming down here and trusting us that we're going to help them, get everything that they want in a college. So I'm excited about Derek. Coach Davis did a good job at linebacker this year. He's always done a really good job recruiting, and this year excited about the guys that we got in at that position. Needing some guys to come in and play. In junior college, you're recruiting, basically recruiting half your team every year, So, we're signing guys now to come in and be immediate impact players and play right away and jump in with these guys that are here right now. And really excited about Deontay Haynes, Bama, nicknamed Bama. Great player, very explosive kid out of Oak Grove. Again, Coach Causey and those guys do a really good job at Oak Grove and developing their players. And those guys really play the game the way you want to play. He plays it like you want them to, and plays a lot of real hard with a lot of energy, and I'm very, very excited to have Bama on board. Datrick Smith from Brookhaven, Willie Bates' teammate, again, one of Coach Clopton's young men that we're glad to have on board with us. He's a guy that can play either one of those stacked linebackers that Coach Davis utilizes so much with blitzing and playing in coverage, and he gives us the length, and excited about Datrick. Kalijah Bradley, I tell you, out of George County. He came to camp for us last summer, and 220 pounds. We clocked him a couple of times, at 4.45. He's a kid that can really run. He's a tremendous kid. No Coach Bradley and those guys recruiting that family over the years from George County, and excited to have Kalijah on board, and looking for great things out of him. Tavares Fairley, a local guy here from Wiggins that transferred to Oak Grove this year. Watched him play a lot of games here last year as a running back. Talented kid that's got some God-given ability, and looking forward to Tavares getting in here, and I'm getting to work and helping us on the defensive side of the football. Excited for what he's going to bring. On the D-line, I tell you, we picked up today a big, long, athletic kid, 6'6", 230-pound defensive end, athlete receiver from Gaucher, Alex Batiste. Talked to his mom a while ago, and they are just so excited. We're just as excited to have him as a kid that's going to, again, that defensive line, you want guys that can rush the passer, that have, the length to defend off those O-linemen and play the game the way you want them to play it. And we're definitely excited to get him on board here today with us from Gaucher, Mississippi. A couple of early enrollees, going to mention while we're talking about D-line, Daquan Newkirk, kid that came in here from Orlando, was an Auburn commit that we transferred in here this January. He's here on campus now, been lifting, working hard, 6'4", about 270, defensive end that we're excited about adding to our signing class, as well as Trevante Valentine, a guy that enrolled this semester that's, was one of the highest recruited, D tackles in the state of Florida a couple of years ago. And, so those are going to be some guys that's going to come in and add to what we have coming back this year to shore up that defensive line. And, again, this side of the football, you win and lose football games on defense. I'm a big believer in that, and feel like with the guys we got coming in, meshing with the guys that we have returning, real excited to see the direction we're headed on that side of football.
I know Coach Davis will be happy. I think he was pretty excited over there as the faxes were coming in, watching him staff back up.
Yeah,
offensive side of the ball, we'll start at the running backs and go out to the receivers and then to the offensive line.
Yeah, I tell you, offensively, again, a talk start off with a kind of an early enrollee, start there in the back end. The quarterback, Jay Burgess from Tulsa, excited to get him on board. He's going to compete with Tyler and Larry this offseason. I'm glad to get Jabe in with us in January. Have a chance to go through spring ball. I'm looking forward to him to competing and doing some good things. At running back, losing the guys we lost last year, needed to bring in some guys this year to add with T-Rod and Javante, and feel like we did that with Quinn Frazier from Hernando. I tell you, we were looking for a 200-pound, 6 foot, 200-pound back that was going to be able to help tote the load. We got some guys that can run and do some things, and was needing some addition there at running back. And Quentin Q, excited, glad you're on board, man, and looking forward to him doing some great things down there on the coast. Picked up Mario Clark from Long Beach. I tell you, I get excited every time I watch his highlight tape. It's a kid that has a ton of ability. Thing about Mario that's great about him is he can also do a lot out of the backfield at receiver. Helped the Long Beach this year, and is a very a kid that can do multiple things. And again, good kid, good family, excited to get Mario Clark on board from Long Beach. At receiver, Coach Phillips did a good job. Coach Moore recruits the running backs and in that Delta area, and he did an outstanding job this year going back to that. Wanted to make sure I make that point. And Jason, this year at receiver, we lost three receivers, looking to replace those guys, and I think we did that really well. Keontae Payton out of Brandon High School. Keontae's originally from St. Martin, so he's originally from the coast. Keontae, to me, is maybe the fastest, not me, but was the fastest kid in the state of Mississippi last year. Ran 10.7 at the 100 meter, won the 100 meter as well as the 200 last year at 6A. He brings to tables a weapon that can go down the field. And really put a lot of pressure on defenses that's going to have to defend him. So really excited about Keontae and him hanging on to the very end there with us. Tavares Breland, an athlete there from Stone County, came to camp this summer, fell in love with him, been watching him play for quite a few years. He's got something that's special, and he also played a little defense, played some receiver, but is a guy I think is going to come in and help us offensively and help us replace some of the guys that's left us. And I'm also picked up at the break was Brandon Martin, 6'4", 220-pound receiver, out of Prime Prep, Texas, out of Ruston, Louisiana. Brandon's doing well, but glad to have him on board as well. So really feel good about receiver core, and I think Coach Phillips is too also. So at tight end, I tell you, real excited about the addition of Brandon Wiley. Brandon played in the Mississippi-Alabama game, and been watching Brandon for a long, long time. And Brandon's going to bring something to our offense that's been like no other tight end that we've had, in the past. And we're going to utilize, Brandon offensive, do some things with him. He's athletic, big kid, plays the game really hard, physical kid, and I'm from George County, and felt, really good after getting his facts through the day and feeling, but can bring a little fresh air that he's on board and solid, and glad to have him with us. Barry Leonardi is a kid from D'Iberville. Barry was a linebacker as a junior. I tell you, it was a really good player. Caught my eye a couple of years ago watching him play, and we're going to utilize Barry, at several possessions. Feel like he's going to come in and play super back for us, that hybrid tight end fullback that we use, but also, know that he played in the Mississippi, North-South and North Blackwell game at defensive end, and, brings, again, a lot of variables there and some things he can do. So excited about Barry Leonardi. On the offensive line, I tell you, Coach, again, Coach Johnson did a really good job with those tight ends, super back recruiting those guys. On the offensive line, picked up 4 guys, 2 tackles, and a couple of inside guys, and really excited about those additions. 2 tackles, Travion Shannon, 6'5", weighed in about 270 the other day when he left on his visit. Tremendous upside, great kid. Henry Johnson, head coach at Clarksdale, played football with Henry back at Delta State. He does a really good job, and think a lot of his programs that he's been a part of, and he's done a really good job with these 2 young men we picked up from Clarksdale, and one of them being Travion Shannon. I'm excited to get him on board. Ricky Hunt from St. Martin, solid 6'3", 285-pound kid that's going to be solid on the inside interior line. I know Coach George is excited excited. Having a guy there that can play center guard, multiple things he can do, like his strength and his ability to with his leadership. Coach Whitehead, bragged all, what kind of leader he was, and looking forward to him bringing those leadership skills to Gulf Coast. Picked up Stephon Cooper, another Gulfport Admiral. I tell you, Stephon, got a chance to win the 6A. Powerlift, state powerlifting champ this year. Squatted over 650 last year and benched over 340. And Stephon's a kid that can really run. Great kid. Coach Pierce couldn't say enough good things about him, and excited to have him on board and hanging strong there through some of these last few days. It gets pretty rough, as you're getting closer and closer to that signing date, and a lot of things start going through your head. But real glad Stephon's on board. Excited he's going to come in and help contribute right away. And also picked up Carter Wood from Starkville Academy. 6'5", 6'6" kid, 270. Out of Starkville Academy, played in the Academy All-Star game, and got to meet his family and getting to know those guys, that Wood family. I'm real excited and glad that this door opened for him, and he felt like this was the best place for him, and we're tickled to death to have him. And Coach George, again, we talk about these players making us better coaches, and Coach George realizes that. He's excited, and glad to get those guys on up front. And then got three athletes here. Wanted to mention Paul Blackwell from Resurrection. Paul is a kid that played on both sides of football. Coach Sisson did a great job this year at Resurrection, taking those guys to the state championship. And he's going to help us also in the special teams area and do some things. And real excited to get Paul Blackwell on board. Melvin Stevenson talked about Travion Shannon, the offensive tackle we got from Clarksdale. Melvin's an athlete from Clarksdale as well. Can play running back, play receiver, a lot of speed. Had an injury this year as a senior, but had a really good junior year, and he's recovering really well from his injury, and looking for him to come in this summer and start right off competing right away. And then coming in off the facts just a little bit ago was Darrell Middleton. 6'6", 250 athlete out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Played defensive end, can run, played some receiver. I'm going to utilize every bit of his skill set to his max. And he was a guy that was highly recruited out of high school, getting a lot of looks. And his family came down. We fell in love with the campus, and he felt like this was the best place for him. So we're glad to get Darrell on board. And it's always a day that you look forward to, but you're always relieved when it's over with and getting these faxes in. And again, it's a lot of effort that goes into this recruiting process. And like you said, earlier, that the state's open, we're scouring the whole state from the north to the south, as well as these kids, in recruiting. They're looking at a bunch of opportunities from the north to the top. But feel like with the commitment that our institutions made with Dr. Graham and Dr. Taylor, with our new facility, the academics, the Learning Resource Center, our guys are graduating, we're playing for championships, and at Gulf Coast, we understand that co-inheres with one another to be a complete student athlete, and we're glad that these families, these kids, have entrusted in us. I'm excited to be their new head football coach, and we're really looking forward to putting these kids together with the guys we have now working out, and looking forward to a great 2016.
Coach, you ran through the list pretty well. We've got more information at mgcccbulldogs.com at our National Signing Day page. More biographical information and photos of those folks. And I'm looking forward to another season. That's going to be a while. We got to wait, I guess, a little bit, get through summer and the fall drills, but it'll be on us before we know it.
No doubt. And we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us here on a special edition of Bulldog Blitz.